Hey snacks, it's Lala! Welcome to Snack Size. I am thrilled to be here sharing this wonderful space with you, and I'm ready to take you on an exciting journey towards finding your passion and following your dreams. So whether you're discovering new interests, setting bold goals, or just looking for a dash of inspiration, know that every moment is worth celebrating and every dream is within reach. So grab a snack and get comfortable because we're about to dive into another fabulous episode where we celebrate the beauty of being unapologetically you. Our time together starts now. Hey snacks! Welcome back to another fabulous episode of Snack Size, the podcast that's all about serving up inspiration to help you live your best life. Today's guest is someone very special to me. She is a personal trainer with a true love of movement, with a background in dance and swimming. But believe it or not, she isn't always a fan of traditional workouts. Having grown up in the 2000s diet culture and living with multiple chronic illnesses, she understands what it's like to have a complicated relationship with your body. But through it all, she believes everyone deserves to feel good in their own skin, and her mission is to help you feel strong, mobile, and confident in yours. Her work has been featured in Women's Health and the New York Times, and now she is here to talk with us at Snack Size. So let's get into an inspiring conversation with my dear friend, Rebecca Stewart. Let's give her a call. Hi, Rebecca. Welcome to Snack Size.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you for stopping by my podcast. For those people who follow me in the drag world, they will recognize Rebecca as one of my backup dancers from Lala and the Sparkles. However, today we are going to talk about all the amazing things she does as a mobility coach, which I know she is super passionate about, and I am so excited that my listeners get to hear more about you. So, Rebecca, tell us a little bit about what you do and a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Rebecca. I am a fitness coach. I like to call myself a strength and mobility coach because that's really what I focus on as a personal trainer. But I grew up, like a lot of us, in the late 90s, early 2000s, really enforced into that diet culture, like thin is in, thin is everything messaging. And so that really, to be honest, has really shaped my fitness world and my life, as a person, as a, fitness coach, when I kind of pivoted and came into the fitness world. But I grew up as a swimmer and a dancer. So I was moving around in two sports where my body was really on full display all the time, right? I was either in dance in a leotard and tights or in swim practice in a swimsuit. So it's kind of hit on both ends with the disordered habits and really bad mindset around body image and what fitness was, what movement looks like, because it was always like, go, 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 go as hard as you can. And also like that constant feedback of like, your body looks terrible. And there's so many things you need to do to fix it and pick apart every single piece of your body. So that's kind of the world that I grew up in, that I'm sure a lot of people listening also grew up into, and has really shaped my philosophy as a coach and how I want to move in the world and help people with their body image and their fitness.
That's amazing. And I know that being a certified personal trainer is kind of recent for you, right?
Yeah, so I got my certification about 5 years ago.
When you think about how you grew up to where you are now, when was the point that you started to accept yourself? Because I'm assuming it had to happen before you went down this road of personal fitness and training, right?
Honestly, actually, it didn't, which is really interesting. I think when I was getting my personal training certification, I thought I was going to have a very different career than the one that I have. And I think that's a good thing, ultimately. My mindset around fitness really changed a lot after the pandemic happened in, March of 2020. Everything locked down. No one could go to the gym. And I was sitting there on TikTok just trying to learn from other people, help myself. And I ended up in a lot of different ways going on this, body, mind, spiritual health, fitness kind of transformation and healing journey where I really shifted my whole mindset around what fitness looks like and, figured out that I'm and everyone is, worthy in this world no matter what they look like. And that really shifted my whole career, I think, in a beautiful way.
Just because I'm curious, what were you thinking you were going to do?
Good question. I think I thought I was going to be maybe more of a focus on aesthetics kind of trainer, just because that's really what the mindset still kind of was in the mid and late 2010s. I think I thought I would be a lot more into, working with people who are really like just want to hit it as hard as they can and, get into bodybuilding and all that kind of stuff. And that's definitely not where I'm at today.
A lot of the marketing, I feel, is still geared towards people that want to hit it really hard at the gym. And that can be very alienating for people who do want to be healthier, but maybe just aren't ready or don't want to do all that.
I agree. And I think, I like to kind of rebel against the mainstream fitness messaging that's so focused on aesthetics and fitness messaging for decades has just relied on taking people's insecurities and their pain points and try and, quote unquote, serve them the solution of, if you lose those last couple pounds or if you build your muscles and you can see all your rippling muscles, through your shirt, like that's going to fix everything in your life. Right. And, you're going to become everybody's best friend and you're going to accomplish all the things that you want to accomplish in life. And I really want my messaging to make people feel better about themselves. I think there's a subset of us that are starting to emerge and have been emerging in the last couple of years, but you still kind of have to make a concerted effort to find us. Just because, with social media these days, it's all about what's going to get views and what's going to get clicks, and it's hard to get a lot of nuance on social media these days still. So a lot of that unhealthy mindset still really gets pushed because that's what's aesthetic and beautiful and that's what people think they want to consume on social media. But ultimately, it just kind of continues to make them feel bad about themselves, which is really unfortunate.
And I know that messaging has been very personal for you. You have spoken about at times being in great shape aesthetically, but feeling terrible mentally and physically. And now you do feel better. What has that journey been like for you?
Yeah, I would say, from probably like 2015 to maybe 2019, maybe more like 2017 to 2019, I was in what, most people would consider the best aesthetic shape of my life, right? But inside it was a very different story. And I was overtraining a lot. I was lifting 5 days a week in the gym and I had dance rehearsal multiple times a week. And I was training in capoeira, a Brazilian martial art, and not taking in nearly enough calories to sustain that kind of activity, still kind of in some very disordered habits around, eat less and move more is a thing that a lot of us heard and a lot of people still probably hear. And I was, participating in, different intermittent fasting regimens. And at a time, there were times I was eating only one meal a day. It's called OMAD, one meal a day, quote unquote, in the name of health, right? And look,
that's a thing?
That's a thing, yes.
Oh, no, ma'am, honey,
Yes.
no, ma'am.
Yes.
No.
Yeah. I remember one time, the first day I did a one meal a day thing, texting the person that I was dating at the time and being like, oh my God, I made it. I haven't eaten in 24 hours. And they responded back to me like, basically like, what the fuck? Like, that's not a healthy mindset. Like, Yeah, it's just, so many people go to all these extremes in the fitness world. And, to kind of jump away a little bit of my personal journey, a lot of the people that you see on social media and big in fitness, like the fitness influencers rather than the fitness professionals, are people that still have a lot of really disordered habits. And you don't necessarily see that because you only see what they put out on social media. And it's very easy to lie on social media about what you're doing. So yeah, my body image was terrible. And I was always, kind of chasing losing those last couple pounds, thinking that it would solve all my problems. And it really took that, concerted internal effort to change my mindset around everything and start healing from that journey that really changed my life. And now, been through a couple, chronic health things that have made a big change in my body. But even before that happened, gaining a little bit of weight was not the end of me. And honestly, it was probably the best thing that could have happened to me to be able to, heal from that toxic mindset.
You have been very transparent about having a chronic illness, and as my listeners know, I do as well. How has that experience influenced your approach to fitness?
Yeah, great question. As someone with chronic illness, I know like every day can be different. And it really depends on, what your chronic illness is, how each day can go. But sometimes you wake up and you have a day full of plans and maybe some symptoms flare up and that completely derails your plans, right? And sometimes you feel awful and sometimes you feel great. So I think in a way it's helped me have a more holistic approach to fitness outside of, the rest of the journey, and be a little bit more flexible and adaptable with my approach, both for myself and for my clients who live either with chronic illnesses or chronic pain. Because, living with chronic illness and being on a fitness journey, sometimes, you can have what you might deem, the best plan for you that month or so. But if you're having, a big flare up, sometimes you need to throw away the plan and just do the best you can. And sometimes that's maybe taking a 5 to 15-minute walk instead of, the heavy deadlifting that you had planned for that day. And being adaptable and having that different approach to fitness, I think it kind of helps build that resiliency in a way for life, that you just, have that real life moment of like, here was the plan, but sometimes the plan doesn't always work, and that's okay too.
I think that approach is so beautiful and so healthy, really, because I know in my performing life, the plan changes all that a time. And I guess before this conversation, I never thought about applying that to my fitness and how that can help me feel better about my health and my fitness and my body. Speaking of feeling better about those things, I know that something I learned about you on another podcast is that you identify as a body neutral coach. We've already talked about body shaming, and of course, if you are living in these modern times, you know about body positivity, but this is actually the first time I've heard about body neutrality. Let's hear about what body neutrality is and how it differs from body positivity.
Yeah. So just a little background on body positivity, if anyone doesn't know what it is. Body positivity really focuses on loving your body no matter what, right? And in my opinion, body positivity can feel often too far-fetched for people if they've lived in that like self-hatred, hating their body their entire life. I can see people saying like, how am I all of a sudden supposed to love every inch of myself just because someone's like, oh yeah, love yourself, right? And body neutrality kind of offers an alternative to that that's less focused on what your body looks like and more on what your body can do for you. As body neutrality sounds, it's more of a neutral stance towards your body, both emotionally and physically. So it's more about accepting and respecting your body as it is without necessarily liking or disliking it. And that doesn't mean you won't ever have, positive or negative thoughts to yourself. And if you do have positive thoughts about yourself, that's great. But body neutrality kind of challenges the idea that our appearance really matters at all, and instead focuses on appreciating what your body can do for you. So whether that you got to go for a run today, or your body carried you through, going to groceries and getting the groceries that you need to nourish your body, or your body allowed you to, play with your kids or grandkids or your dog, or, whatever you have, rather than, just focusing on, all right, love yourself and, shove that down your throat. Just love yourself no matter what, which is what it can feel like sometimes when you see people, focus on body positivity. And I feel like I'm sounding really negative about body positivity. I don't think it's a bad thing, but I think it can, like I said, just feel so far-fetched for people when they've spent maybe decades hating their body. And how are you all of a sudden supposed to just love it no matter what?
It is a big jump. It's a big shift, and I see what you're saying there. I know that for me, I wish I were humble enough not to care about my appearance. That I like to look sickening, honey, but I think that body neutrality sounds like a way that can bridge a gap for a lot of people that have struggled with their image. And speaking of that, I guess I'm curious, how have your clients responded to body neutrality?
I think it gives people somewhat of a jumping point from where they have been, because most of my clients come to me with some sort of body image issue. A lot of my clients have, a history with disordered eating or disordered habits of, some sort of or another. So focusing on, just building strength and getting rid of pain in their body, reducing pain. A lot of people come to me with body aches and pains that they've been in for years or, decades. When you start to improve your life in those ways, where you can feel that confidence and that your body is capable of doing these things and lifting these really heavy weights, that can completely shift your mindset and your confidence in a way that I think people don't really understand before they do it themselves. And so that kind of gets them into a place, more maybe straddling the line between body neutrality and body positivity sometimes, where they're like, hey, I'm actually pretty cool and I can do these really cool things. And, I don't hate myself so much anymore. Or maybe, those negative thoughts still do come in sometimes, but they don't affect me nearly as much as they used to.
What I do love about the concept is that neutralizing will level the playing field so that other things can happen. So if you do have a lot of negative feelings, the process of neutralizing can get you to a point where you just feel okay, or maybe even allow for positivity to come in. And I really do love that about the concept you've created, or I guess I should say, did you create body neutrality, or is it something that you've just adopted?
No, I wish I did. That would be really cool. But no, it's just a concept that I learned about the beginning of the 2020 pandemic, and really adopted that into my philosophy because I needed it at that time, right? I was still very much in a lot of negative mindsets about myself, and it did a lot of work to get to the place that I am now. I'm not going to say that it's easy, but it's for sure worth it.
Speaking of doing the work, we know that body image is something that can prevent people from pursuing their fitness goals. What advice would you have for someone who's struggling with the idea of getting healthy or working out or anything like that?
Yeah. It's a tough one. And like I said, I don't want to, pretend like you can just wave a magic wand and all of a sudden remove all your insecurities, right? Because I still struggle with a lot of insecurities. It's just changed in the way that I approach them, or that, the way that I talk to myself in my brain. My first recommendation to anyone that wants to start on this, fitness and body image journey is to go through your social media feed. And you don't even have to do it all at once, but anytime something comes up on your feed that makes you feel bad about yourself, or maybe starts triggering those negative thoughts, that, kind of comparison syndrome, just unfollow them, period. When you stop interacting with the things that trigger those insecurities, and, unfollow them or block them if you have to, right? And start interacting with the things that you like and things that expand your view of your body and your mindset, you'll stop getting so much of that negative feedback in your head. The second thing that I think is really important is to remember and kind of try and sink into your body that literally everyone that you meet has insecurities that they're dealing with. And even, the most confident person in the world, think of one person in your brain, right? Like Lala, I would put you as one of those people. You seem like a very confident, incredible person.
Well, thank you. And I know you've seen me a complete mess sometimes, so I appreciate that even more.
So, just know that like every single person that you interact with on a daily basis has insecurities that they're dealing with. It's not just you. It's just the fact that, you live inside your brain and you know what you're thinking, and you don't know what, the person that you bumped into when you're getting coffee is thinking inside their brain. Another thing that I think can help with people's mindsets is that all of our insecurities have literally been manufactured by the health, fashion, fitness, beauty, wellness industry in order for them to sell us the solutions, right? Sell us in quotes, because we've been programmed to look at our bodies and see all of the, again, in quotes, flaws that they have created for us. And it feels like practically every single day, even now in 2024, there's some new like fake body part that we're supposed to be ashamed of. So just know and try and internalize that like literally it's the job of the beauty and fashion and, wellness industries to make you feel bad about themselves so you can be sold more things. And, just know that working on your body image is not an overnight fix. Like I said before, it's something that you have to keep working on over time and, taking those negative thoughts and changing the way that you respond to them.
I'm so glad that you mentioned change, because I know that you created something really awesome because you had to change the way you did something. And I want to transition to your TikTok series, Chill Mobility.
Yeah.
Tell us what it is and how it came to be.
Chill Mobility was really born out of necessity in my life. I started Chill Mobility as a series on TikTok in 2020. It was August 2020. The 2-year anniversary just came up a little bit ago, but
congratulations.
Thank you. But I was in kind of the depths of a new chronic illness journey. I have a couple chronic illnesses, and I was in the depths of trying to figure out some more recent symptoms that had been going on, and was dealing with a lot of chronic pain and a lot of different things. And I was really neglecting my body at that time just because I was so fatigued. I was in pain. And, when you're in pain, it's really hard to sit there and be like, if I move, I'm going to feel better, because it feels really counterintuitive, right? So the first day I did Chill Mobility, I just set up my camera for accountability, and I was like, I'm going to do this. I literally said in the voiceover in the video, I told myself I could have an extra cup of coffee today if I just did my mobility work. So I set up my camera and, sipped my coffee in between doing a couple different hip and foot mobility exercises in that first video, and posted it literally in my pajamas in that video. And it got thousands of views, and I was so shocked at the response at first. And then it kind of sunk in that like, this is really something that people need. They need a different approach to fitness, and a different approach to lower the barrier into what most people have been taught fitness is, right? It doesn't have to be, a 60-minute all-out sweaty gym session where you leave it all on the floor and you're sweating and panting and you can't get up off the floor at the end of the workout, right? And I realized that if I could just get people moving their body for 5 minutes or less, they would feel so much better in their daily life. So that was what Chill Mobility kind of became, when I was like, man, I need accountability to do this myself. And I'm a personal trainer. I'm educated. I have all the knowledge, and I can't force myself to do it. But if I set up the video and, post it on TikTok for the accountability, maybe I can get someone else to do this too, and get them to know that it doesn't have to be this huge mind-blowing program that will help their body feel better.
I really want to take a moment and highlight what you said and really draw attention to the power that can be behind 5 minutes. Something that happens with me in drag often is people will come out to me and say, oh, your makeup is so amazing. It's better than mine. And my usual response to that is that it should be. I mean, I'm basically doing theater makeup multiple times a week. It should be better than most people. But then what I say after is that if you spend 5 minutes a day on your makeup, you can probably get to where you want to be in a couple months. And it just goes to show you that the energy is in making the time and making the effort. It doesn't matter what goal it is, whether it's beauty or health or whatever it needs to be in your own life. That 5 minutes is going to get you where you want to go if you commit to doing it. And 5 minutes isn't a lot of time, especially when we live in a world where time is something that people struggle with.
Right. And especially in this day and age when, I was hoping things would slow down and we'd learn some lessons in the pandemic, but life seems to just continue to speed up. And, people are so busy, whether they have, multiple jobs or they have, kids or grandkids or, just multiple interests that are keeping them so busy. It can be hard for someone to want to take that time away to, go to the gym for 60 minutes, 3 days a week or whatever it is. But yeah, like 5 to 15 minutes can make a huge difference in how your day feels.
I did want to ask you, because I'm one of the girls on the go. What are the top 3 things that you can do if you just want to start incorporating mobility into your life?
So for mobility specifically, obviously, you have to get some exercises under your belt, which you can find if you follow me, but you can find so many resources out there too on, all the social medias and YouTube. And, pick like 2 or 3 exercises, depending on, what area of your body you want to work with. Maybe your shoulders and your upper back is really tight. So you pick 2 or 3 thoracic mobility exercises just to kind of start to create some space in your upper spine. Sometimes we think we need this huge, complex routine that checks every single box, and paring it down to like 1 or 3 exercises can still make a really big difference. 3 to 5 days a week, if you can, would be fantastic, but start with that and see how things feel. And usually, if you can get started, once people start feeling a difference in their body, that becomes a big motivator too, to keep it going.
Awesome. I am so impressed with everything that you shared today, but what really resonates with me is that you've had a lot of things going against you in this journey. You've shared body image issues and overworking yourself and dealing with chronic illness, but now you are working and helping people in fitness. Was there ever a point in your journey where you thought, I can't do this? And how did you overcome that?
Oh, every day.
I get it. I do. I understand.
No, I would literally be lying if I didn't say I still have those thoughts every single day. It's the little things that keep me going, right? Sometimes I might have a client that will come and say, hey, I've been dealing with this thing and all these exercises that we've been doing, building the strength has helped me feel so much better in my body. Or, I had a client at one point who wasn't in a super great relationship, and building strength and strength training helped them stand up in the relationship and make the relationship better. And, I had another client come to me one time that had this hip pain she had for like 10 years. And within, a couple of weeks of doing some mobility work, her hip pain had gone. So it's those little things, I say little, they're really big things, but it's those things that keep me going sometimes. And I just have to kind of take little screenshots of nice messages that I get and put them in a happy folder and come back to them every now and then. But yeah, man, I mean, this world is tough, and the fitness world is really tough. And being in this mindset in fitness can be even more tough. I don't know if that answered the question you exactly asked, but yeah, every single day I still have to wake up and put on my best face and go forward. I question myself all the time whether I can make it, but it's worth it for sure.
Yeah. Loving yourself and valuing yourself and believing in yourself are absolutely choices you have to make every single day. And what I really just find so moving about you is that despite any circumstances that have been thrown your way, you have continued to dream big. And so we need to know, what is next for Rebecca?
Professionally, I want to, continue to help people get stronger and get out of pain. I really do. It's hard for me to say because I tend to be a much more humble person, not like trying to toot my own horn.
Wrong podcast, baby. Wrong podcast. Go on ahead and toot. I'm a whole orchestra over here.
I need to bring your confidence into how I'm speaking about myself. But I do think I have a very unique mindset in this world. And I think I wrote on a whiteboard at the beginning of 2024, you're going to change the world in 2024. And I still do believe that. I think, this mindset around fitness needs to continue to move forward so that more people can just have a healthier mindset about their whole life. Personally, I'm kind of in a space right now where I'm just trying to maintain balance between my goals and recovery. And I've kind of been dreaming the last couple of weeks about doing a rim to rim hike at the Grand Canyon. So that's kind of my goal right now. And then just continuing to be able to dance and do the things that I love. I'm in my 30s now, and that used to be a time where people thought that you were over the hill, and life continues to go downwards at this point. But I think from here it can only go up. I have this theory that it isn't so much that our bodies just kind of break down as we get older, as I think it's more that we play less and we do less of the things that bring us joy. And, the more that we can bring those ways of moving with joy back into our lives, the more youthful that we'll feel overall. And, if I just continue to keep myself strong and keep myself mobile, I think I can keep dancing well into my, 40s, 50s, 60s if I want to. That would be amazing.
I agree so much. I plan to dance as long as I can myself. And with that, so it is time for the snack size question, which I ask all of my guests. Rebecca, in your opinion, what is the secret to a happy and fulfilled life?
Yeah, for me, the answer to that question right now is learning to be authentic to yourself and putting your needs first. And I went into 2024 with my goal being to prioritize bringing more joy and more peace into my life. And I think personally for me, that's the secret to a happy life, just following the things that bring you joy and the things that bring you peace, and being around the people that allow you to be authentic, and not only allow you to be, but shine the light back at you and love your authenticity, because everything else isn't meant for you. And on the flip side might literally be actively harming you if you can't be authentic and, be yourself. What are you living this life for?
Yes. And so for those who want to be chill and mobile, where can they follow you, Rebecca?
I am at rebeccastewart.co on all platforms. My website is rebeccastewart.co. And I have a free mobility guide people can sign up for. And I train in person in Minneapolis. And I also do online custom programming for people that want help figuring out their routine and their goals. So you can find me all those places.
And for those special events, you can also find Rebecca right behind me on stage.
Yes.
Rebecca, it has been a joy having you on Snack Size. Thank you so much for sharing your story. I learned something, and I know that all the snacks did too. So with that, snacks, be safe, love one another, and of course, go be fabulous. Bye! Thanks for listening to this episode of Snack Size, the podcast. But if you're still feeling a little hungry, then head on over to snacksizepod.com and feast on all your favorite episodes. While you're there, follow me on social media. I love to stay connected. Until next time, keep it tasty. And remember, you are always the flavor of the day.